here today at the Women in Addictions Conference because I think this is a really important area for addiction services. I think we need to cater for women and to make sure they're represented in our services, and I'm really interested to learn more about domestic violence and all the other areas here today.
Well, I'm delighted to attend today. I think the work that I am involved in, we very much are impacted by and meet people that have experienced addiction issues and have had a lot of trauma and difficult times in their life. And usually when they're coming to us, they've been supported to get to the stage where they're ready to report something that has happened to them in the past, or maybe they're supporting somebody else. But it's really great for me to be here to meet colleagues working across different areas, different sectors, and I think the lived experiences, it's no harm for me working in the service to hear those lived experiences of others that have experienced addiction in their lives and come through it, but to hear, you know, what we need to be doing better for them. And I think one of the themes already today we've seen is that we need to be working together as services. And for me, at managerial level, I need to be making sure that I'm meeting with my counterparts, that we're all getting each other's point of view on things and work for the better of people that are affected.
Always good to upskill and to be educated on people's hardships and what they've come through and the influences that have changed their lives. Particularly very interesting listening to Katrina and Katrina's story today and what she's come through and how people had an impact and helped her.
Attending the HSC Women in Addiction Conference is such a privilege to be able to share my own journey, but the journey of my family as well, and to be able to maybe help people understand what it's like to be in addiction, but also what poverty can do to people. It feels like a real privilege. And just to have had such a warm response from people across the sector, including guards, people in probation, people in the family networks, it's really been a lovely day. And I feel really excited and privileged to be part of it. The HSC Women in Addiction Conference is an opportunity to network, understand, and hopefully serve more women in addiction.
It means so much to be working here today because the scheme that I work on, it's 50-50. We've got males and females, but there's also a lot more complex issues with females when you've got childcare. And it was summed up very well there earlier on when one of the speakers mentioned about to treat the women is to treat the whole family. It's a bigger picture when we're working with the females.
It gives a great networking opportunity to meet other professionals, hear true life stories, and I think it's just a really important event to be taking place.
Attending the Women HSC Addiction Conference is the coming together of people, resources, education, the co-production process of dealing with addiction, bringing all the steps together and like a holistic approach. We get to come and meet and discuss that today.
What it means for our service in particular to be at the conference on women in addiction here in Donegal is it's an opportunity to start linking in with services that maybe we haven't traditionally worked with. So we tend to work with domestic abuse and addiction in isolation, and what we're hoping as an outcome of this conference is that we will be able to look at a way in working in which we can, you know, liaise with other agencies, look at risk assessment across both, working with addiction and domestic abuse, and basically strengthen the work that we're doing for clients that are very vulnerable at this point in time.
It's very inspiring. The speaker's very inspiring, and Katrina O'Sullivan there. I mean, we have a statutory, Donegal ETB has a statutory remit for youth work, and we see a lot of the issues that Katrina spoke about through the funding that we give out to Donegal Youth Service, Bariga, Scouting Ireland and so on, Girls Brigade, Boys. So, you know, she mentioned youth work as well, and youth work is so important, and I think maybe it's not valued enough, and people don't have enough knowledge about it, you know, because youth workers are so busy, they're not able to PR themselves, you know, they're not, you know, but having said that, at the ETB, we have a lot of support. My boss, Martin Garmley, Director of Schools, would be very supportive of what we're trying to do, you know, and it's getting there, you know. So today's conference, for me, I'm delighted I came. I wasn't sure, you know, should I be here as a man and stuff like that, but when I came today and listened to the speakers and listened to some of the contributions from the floor, excellent, you know.
I think it's an amazing event. It's brilliant to be here today and see it happening. I suppose working in service, working in treatment we're seeing more and more women presenting with addiction issues, and I suppose there are often barriers to treatment and women accessing treatment, and especially if they're their primary caregiver, children and things like that, going to treatment may not be an option.
I'm really pleased that the HSE has issued a 5-year plan around fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. I'm
here today from the Family Resource Centres. There would be 10 of us in Donegal, so we would have a very big network in the county. And I suppose it's really beneficial for us for the work that we do, particularly in the community development piece within our areas. We would have the likes of the domestic violence services coming and doing outreach within our FRCs, and it's really supporting them and their work, allowing the space to facilitate that within the heart of our communities.
I think today what we heard was stories of personal struggle, but also of resilience, and what a difference some services made. So I suppose the take-home message for me is to speak up for what my clients need, and that even small actions and kind words could leave a lasting legacy.
I attended the HSE Women in Addiction Conference today. I came away with a very strong understanding, very powerful, I believe, today. So yeah.
I absolutely loved the whole bottom-up approach of it, and the lived experience and valuing lived experience and peer group, and using peer group work to share learning and experience. It was a bit hard-hitting, but the domestic abuse and bringing it into reality, because I think, as one of the speakers said, we all sort of grew up in that, given Ireland and the addiction of it, and maybe that it was sort of acceptable without even knowing that it's acceptable. And certainly Laura's presentation really brought home the stark facts of it, really brought home for me. So I'm going away with a different outlook on it. It's given me the confidence and the awareness to say it, because like I said, we take things so much for granted in the culture until something is really pointed out like that. We don't really know, and terrific. The conference itself, every speaker, I was riveted to what they were saying. So the content and the expertise and the lived experience is a magnificent combination. We are all doing great work on the ground, and the government needs to be serious about proper funding and adequate funding for all projects on the ground, let it be statutory or community-based projects, and for it to work, because there's no point in having a great strategy up the top if it's not relating to projects on the ground, and it needs to be more health-led criminal implications for drug users and their families. That feeds into stigma and isolation and all the rest.
I think it's a great learning event. I would probably not have as much knowledge as I need to have about this subject, so this morning so far has been very powerful, very enlightening, and I think the amount of work that's been done by the Addictional Forum is actually very positive. A lot of one-to-one, a lot of in people's home where it has most effect and most benefit, so looking forward to the rest of the day now. Thank you very much.
Attending the HSE Women in Addiction Conference today means everything. You know, we're trying to pave the way, we're trying to raise awareness, talk about the disadvantages that we face people in addiction. You know, what they face in the world is really difficult, and by having this conversation, coming together, and hopefully agencies working together, we can make serious change.
I think there's an awful lot of take-home messages from today, but one that stands out for me is about being the one good person in somebody's life, to be the voice for somebody to come and listen to, or to be the ear rather than somebody to come and listen to you, to hear the child's story and to hear the woman's or the man's need for help.